Okay, so guys, we're back now with the Fischer Random now, final one. Amongst others, Fabi plays is arch enemy Magnus. Chess-wise talking. Chess-wise talking. So let's see how these guys are producing themselves today. So no evaluation bar, no engine used during the live game. Um, we're going to use our own minds, and at the end of the game, we can actually check with the engine if some moves were better and we should have played differently. But until then, we're gonna roll with our own thinking about what's going on here now. Cool stuff. Okay. Of course, guys, if you see some brilliant tactics that I'm missing, feel free to type them in and we're gonna look at them. So half an hour for Fabi here and 47 minutes, like let's say 15, 17 minutes more for Magnus Carlsen. And of course, we are going to peruse through the other games that are happening right now. Not that much the Keimer versus Ding Liren, in which sadly for Ding, he lost that one too. He's definitely not in good shape. Ding Liren, definitely not in good shape. I really feel for him. Um, yeah, he needs a little bit of a break and recharge itself. Yeah, painful for Ding, really. Okay, black to play here. Can you castle? Just asking for a friend. Hey, Simpson. Well, yeah, that's fine, mate. We all learning. So I learn every single day. Every single day there is something I'm learning. Not just from chess, it's just pretty much from everything. But yes, chess-wise as well, every single day. Either expanding my opening repertoire or new tricks, new tactics, new ideas. So he didn't castle, Simpson. He didn't castle, but instead he moved the king to c7. That amounts to castling. It amounts to castling. What it means is that he's able to get the rooks eventually and oppose the d file by white. So Magnus Carlsen, rather than castling, he actually thought that it might be safer for the black king to place him on 8 on c7, guarded by those black pawns. So uncheckable. Can we put it this way? It is uncheckable. And therefore, black is able to just get some rooks and oppose white on the d file. And frankly, I think I love this bishop too. A bit more than the white knight, so to speak. So, guys, although the Fischer Random, some people have allergy or they don't like it very much, have you guys noticed that actually the players in the Fischer Random tend to get the game to familiar setup? So sooner or later, it looks like the kings have been castled. Sooner or later, the rooks are connected. The same principles apply. And the minor pieces are developed. And yeah. So let me tell you good stuff here for black is that they could get a rook. They've got an almighty powerful bishop. And the queen might be able to just playing on a3 at some point. Amongst others, I think the white queen plays a little bit of a prophylactic defensive purpose. Because if the black queen wants to come closer, also interesting to exploit that idea as well. I mean, look at the rook, look at the bishop, look at the queen. Maybe they want to just purely defending if necessary. Now I wonder what is black supposed to be doing. Can you envisage something crazy like this? For black, I'm talking about. The idea would be, can black open up the A file to gain access to attacking the white king? That's the question, I think, my chess friends. And anyway, just to make it clear for all of our friends, apparently I'm able to read the messages on YouTube coming via YouTube and Kick.com and Facebook, I suspect. I'm not sure about the LinkedIn. I'm not sure what's wrong with the chat, but anyway, just to let you know, guys, if I don't react to your LinkedIn messages, that means I just can't see them on the screen. So apologies for that. I don't know what's going on. We'll try to figure out. Anyway, let's go back to the game now. So from black's perspective, it's important to open up the A file because it's very much deadly for white. Hello, Sonoji. So yeah, that's how I look at it. Actually, I'm starting to doubt now if black should be placing a rook on the d file. I think more importantly for them is actually to make use of the a file rather than the d file, my friends. So I think that's more important. I don't know, maybe doubling on the a and then pushing some b pawn. That's quite strong. Again, this bishop is a nightmare for Fabi. This bishop here, it's terrifying. The bishop is terrifying, coupled with the rooks, and maybe this. I think this is Magnus Carlsen's plan, broadly being put. This is Black's plan here. If you think I'm wrong, please do correct me. Give me your best interpretation, and I'm more than happy to listen to your thoughts. For Fabi here, okay, what the heck is this move? Okay, please someone enlighten me. Queen c5, going for the queen trade now? In this fashion? Are you serious? I mean, very genuinely now, queen to c5. I mean, I understand you freaking going for some lone pawn here, which is, by the way, completely irrelevant, more or less. But really? Queen c5? Why the heck would you want to trade queens with the pawn structure like this? Okay, yes, it's a very exciting match. Sunoji, please, guys, you tell me what the heck is with queen c5 happening here? I mean, do you really consider if white queen takes and black pawn takes, it's okay, you could definitely play a pawn. Okay, it's maybe he calculated 20 moves in advance, of course, and he sees stuff we don't normally see. But trading queens on c5 for black now, with that beautiful black queen ready to marching on a, maybe pushing the b. I don't know about this one, fellas. Tell me, what do you think? Tell me your honest thoughts about this, because looks weird. I mean, unexpected for sure. Very, very, very unexpected. I think you're supposed to take the queen, right? I think white is supposed to take the queen. So let me just put it what I see here. So I think white queen should take, black pawn should take, play some king over to b2. And heck, what can happen here? What exactly can happen? Like what? I'm not even sure you're supposed to play king to b2 because there is no queens on the board. Well, Fabi is white. I guess Fabi wants to take the black queen. It doesn't make any sense not to take the queen. I've seen that, Sonoji, and I said it. I've seen that and I've said it to my friends. But that's a very minimal idea. Very minimal idea. I guess queen just takes c5 and just go for a draw or something. Okay, interesting. Rook e3. Rook e3. Why not taking the queen? Okay, we're gonna check with the engine at the very end of it. I think white queen should have taken c5, b takes c5, and then heck, then you play rook e3. The queens are off the board, and you give black some double pawns on the c file. What would be wrong with that one, I wonder? Very unclear and just surprising, but hey. Magnus is Magnus and Fabi Fabi. We're gonna definitely witness the heck is going on beyond this point. Okay, so he didn't want to take the queen. I reckon if queen takes, obviously rook takes. That's certainty. And then if black plays something like this, and I guess you can come closer. No, you can move the rook back on d3, double power. And yeah, if we keep trading, probably we're going to draw, ladies and gents. They are going to draw if they keep trading those pieces. Okay, very surprising queen c5 from Magnus. I wonder if maybe a move like b5 would have been better. But anyway, here we are. Rook now asks the question here. Mind you, guys, it's a little bit weird to play king to c1. I'm really concerned about queen to a3 check. Okay, so you kind of have to take. Now, rook's gonna take. I guess rook's gonna take. I'm expecting Magnus to play any craziness, but hey, rook takes back. He got the d file, which may be coming with a check. We gotta be careful on this one, fellas. Are you going to do what? Mind you, guys, you know this weird Fabi's choice that he did with rook e3. You know why? Because even if you take the queen, Magnus doesn't have to take it straight away. Magnus can play an in-between move like rook d1 check. Because he can afford doing that. And actually, I think that's quite a cool one. So, yeah. So there's no big deal in taking the queen c5 at that particular moment. Okay, queen to b2. Okay. Yeah, okay. If queen takes, rook takes, not king. I guess rook takes. And black rook doesn't have to... Actually, the only entrance point is this square here, which might be a little bit frustrating for white being attacked, hit on the back. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see. But very, very, very strange choice. That queen c5 definitely needs to be checked with the Stockfish or maybe some other guys that might be seeing this. I think eventually he will, Sonoji. He will trade on c5. Because if you don't trade and move the rook or something, the f2, which we did say, the f2 is sort of hanging. So he will trade the queens, I guess. He will trade, and then, you know, you're going to get your rook attacking c5, of course, b6, heck, stuff like that. Then maybe king here in order to get the knight to do something, actually. I don't know. It could be all sorts of stuff. You need to take the control over to the d file, too. But let's see how Magnus is going to proceed now. Good stuff for Magnus that he's like on 41 minutes. 41 minutes. No big weakness for black here. If there is anything, I think black is maybe slightly happier in the current position. I don't think there's any big advantage for anyone. Again, it could be slightly advantageous for black. I'm not going to put the engine bar or anything. But at the end, we definitely can have a look at those critical moments, which I think could have been reacted to differently. Okay. This one is not going to work. Yeah, so exactly, we did say that. Rook wants to move on the back rank, frustrating white, because the rook here is going to hit potentially f2. Potentially, well, you can't do the rook g1, but in case the knight moves away, that is. But definitely rook on the back rank is very good. You could be attacking pawns, undefended pawns. If queens come off the board, that might be an idea. Might be an idea. Especially if the white knight is... So let's say, my chess friends, let's say the queens are disappearing. And then we go for trading the knights and things. Yeah, so Fabi can't allow that. But hey, there's something interesting taking place. Rook e1. Obviously, you can't take with the queen because you're going to be dropping the black rook here. So they can't take on f2. What is Fabi going to do? Wait a second. It was Magnus, apologies. It was Magnus' turn. f2 hanging. Oh, now that's an opportunity for Fabi to just simply repeat the moves. Exactly. Rook e3, there you go. He's going for repetition. If Magnus repeats, I guess, there you go. That's the second time, guys. One more time, and we've got a draw right now. So they're gonna be playing tomorrow for sure. So now Magnus can actually decide if he wants to repeat, or if he wants to go for the win. He wants to draw, fellas. They're gonna be a draw, guys. Now, if Fabi reacts rook e3, it is going to be a draw. It's going to be a draw. None of them wants to take any more risks. I think they're happy to go with the next game. Magna's going to be white, Fabi going to be black, and I guess Magna's going to try to win, capitalize on the next game. If Fabi plays now, if Fabi now plays rook e3, this is a draw, because it's the third repetition of the same position. So, ladies and gents, that should be a draw if rook e3 happens. Oh yeah, that's a draw. Exactly. Well, let's go now quickly to Firouzja and Gukesh. They still debating. They still debating here. Alireza white and Gukesh with blacks. Okay. That looks very shaky. That looks very tactical. That looks very, very dangerous. This knight's being hit twice, defended twice. I don't know what to say about the white king. I really don't know. I'm not comfortable with the king there, but then again, where is the checks? This is solidified by Alireza. Those pawns are providing an excellent defense against the queen infiltrating. If there is a trade, I think that favors white. So if Gukesh starts trading, well, you can't trade now, obviously. But any trade is good for white. And overall, let me see. What does this black rook do? Because if you take this black rook off the board, actually white is having two active minor pieces. And everything is pretty much attacking. Whilst black is having one rook, one queen, and one bishop. So if Gukesh gets the rook on a6 to do something, he would be very happy if this rook gets to attack something. I'm not sure if that's a good idea or if it's too slow. I'm not sure. It might be too slow. Maybe you just need to simplify stuff. So I think the point for Gukesh is try to find ways to activate the rook on a6, and then you have more power than white. I know, easier said than done. Easier said than done, but hey, they've got like 26, half an hour left on their clocks now, so it's impossible not to find some good ideas here. I'm sure they're going to come up with something. Whose turn is it? Alireza. Alireza's turn. How do you improve attacking chances with black here? Question is. Okay, let's highlight a couple of candidate moves here, guys. By the way, feel free yourselves to type in candidate moves. If you have any ideas, any revelation, please do share them. Yeah, Simpson, I thought about queen d5, still providing defense here, putting a little pressure here. True, but Alireza went for g4. He wants to march down with the pawns or something. Very interesting. g4. I guess if there is any h5, he's going to be pushing one more time. I guess. Weird, but I guess that might be a thing. Or maybe he wants to do h3, and if they take, having two passes. So Simpson, what I think is that Alireza in principle would like to move those pawns up to just simply create two-pass pawns. And then you push them potentially to just promote them, given the fact you got a super powerful bishop. Bishop on b2. You know, just controlling all the dark squares. So probably he wants to create one or two passes, pushing them, supporting them, especially with the bishop. And that's the game for white here. That's the game for white. Well, your move too, Simpson, could be explored at some point, because your move that you suggested queen to d5 actually wants to attack this guy and give some checks here. Of course, there might be some bishop f. Sorry, some bishop c7. Some bishop c7. Then maybe knight takes, king takes, getting the king out of the open. Maybe some other checks here. Might that work? I'm not sure though. It might work. It might work. Okay. All in all, I think that's a way more exciting game than Fabi Carlsen, which was very positional. Like they're both like not wanting to risk anything. Hey, Simpson, let me go back quickly to Magnus and Fabi. I want to see if that queen c5 was absolutely necessary to be played. Wait a second. This is the move. Okay. I was in this very position, Simpson. I was so happy about Black's position, and I just said that maybe ideas like this would be better. So let's see what the engine says. The engine says what I said. It says queen a3. I did say queen a3 right before asking the engine. Rook a5 for the purpose of doubling up. Queen c5 playable, but not that great. Playable, the fourth line. Anyway, I would have played queen a3, but still looks like they are going to draw regardless. Anyway, I didn't get any wrong thought. That thought was good, and I did mention. Now there's something weird with the b5. There might be something wrong with it. What's wrong? What is wrong with b5 for black, that is? I sincerely want to know. Was there a blunder? Well, yeah, because they take and you can't take back. That's for sure. But can't I make a battery? Yeah, but it's not going to be checkmate, right? Okay, it's probably a big blunder. But that's the reason the engine says rook a5 first, so that you can potentially double up and then b5. Okay. Ah, well, in another universe, because it didn't happen. Rook a5 didn't happen. Back to Gukesh and Alireza. Oh, I'm sorry. I've forgotten about the engine. I hate when the engine is on during the live games. Oh, man. Okay, bishop looks like under threat now. Bishop on b2. They gotta move it somewhere. Where do we move? Ah, he moved it already. c3. No more attacking on the bishop. Could you do this, and if this, you could do this, threatening this and that. That sounds interesting. So going back, Simpson, to your old idea, queen d5 might be quite paying off, especially after b5 by white. So there might be a thought for white to explore here. Again, if Gukesh gets the rook active, Alireza's in trouble. He still needs a billion years to do something with those pawns and pushing them forwards and creating passes. It's difficult. And if by any chance black manages to hit this knight 3 times, I think Alireza's got a problem. So moreover, I think it's very important to making sure that the black rook on a6 leaves the 6th rank. So that black rook needs to leave. That would be a problem, I guess, for white if this were to happen. So probably. But now it's black's to move, not white. So I've highlighted white's ideas, but now it's black's to play. What can it be improved? Could you do something painful like bishop f2? Is it that bad? Refreshing the page. Is this move, oops, is this move that bad? Or it's too slow and it's just... Bishop f2 would do, I think, a few things. Getting rooks closer to attacking 3 times here. Defending any incoming checks. But no, he goes for this. You know, you want to hear something interesting? If this pawn were to ever moving forwards, attacking the rook, okay, I'm assuming you got to get this rook somewhere, but there's also the idea of rook takes c3, king moves, and then this one here with the major skewer. So just saying, just saying. So I think amongst others, Gukesh has this thought in mind. There is another one. You can't really move the knight because if you play the knight, there is also the queen that might take this pawn with a devastating check, really creating a passer on a3. I think that's also quite problematic here for white. They got to be very careful. I think step by step, Gukesh actually improves its position, and he will get to actually have the full power of two rooks actively attacking. So Gukesh, I think, starts seeing the light at the end of the tunnel now, and he's going to be activating his pieces. The two rooks are very important, and I don't know what's the plan for Alireza here. Notice how, guys, if the queen leaves the f5 square, there's a lot of weaknesses that can be taken advantage of. This is so dangerous. I'm not sure Alireza is happy with the current position now. You can't attack the black king successfully. You can't generate threats. What do you attack? How do you attack? So Simpson, going back, I think your old idea, Queen d5, might have been even better than that g4 pawn move, which really didn't bring anything. And now he's desperate for trading. I'm not sure he is going to accept though. I'm not sure Gukesh is going to accept the queen's trade. I don't think you should be accepting. Probably you shouldn't. Probably you shouldn't accept the trade. Huh. Because if you accept the trade, white's still gonna have like pawn majority on the king side, and that's probably very problematic and challenging for black. So you may want to avoid to trade the queens, I guess. Now, if you want to avoid, the question is, what do you do with the black queen? If you don't want to trade, fine. Okay, you don't want to trade. Where do you go with the queen? I don't know. Would you trade here? It's a bit scary having those pawns coming down. Again, supported by the knight and by the bishop. I think it's a bit scary. So probably you shouldn't be trading, guys. Where do you go? Here? Where do you go? Here? Then have it discovered. Hit on the queen. Then maybe you can escape. Where do you go with the black queen? Good question. I'm not sure. I would probably sit down 5 more minutes figuring out where to get the queen. Thing is, if you do queen to f7, Alireza probably going to play queen to g7, further pressurizing you into trades. So, and you need to take it from there. Maybe queen f7, and if queen g7, you're going to go big again back to d8. I mean, go via d8, b5. Could you do that? Or is too slow, or is... I'm not sure. But then there is another problem. If queen g7 and you still refuse to trade, you might be dropping including the h7 pawn, which I think is highly, highly problematic for white at this stage. Hello, Anirudh. So there you go, queen d8. Didn't I say that? I say this a couple of times. Queen d8. Don't trade the queens. I did say it. I did say this. So you try to avoid, try to get here, having double hit on c3, and take it from there. I don't know, maybe they're just too close in terms of points or something. But I think really just Fabi and Carlsen actually disputing the final. It's a strange format. I don't know, Anirudh. I need to read over the format again. Yeah, I was expecting just Fabi and Magnus to play. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they just been paid to play. I don't know. Uh, so I guess Gukesh wants to play. Yeah, that's fine, Anirudh. If you want to have a quick read and then update us on what the heck's going on there, yeah, would be good. So I guess now, because Black wants to play Queen c6 next, I think they want to do that, right? Can you prevent that? No, you can't really prevent nothing. Can you play Queen d5? That's Simpson's old idea. Well, I guess you could, but that doesn't stop Queen to c6, really. And again, if there is any more tradings, I think that might be beneficial for Black, though, because it's just two rooks, after all. Two rooks is two rooks. So I guess step by step, as I said, guys, I guess step by step Gukesh improves his stuff, and he's gonna get to actually make full use of that rook on the a6, which is a little bit stranded, let's say. Misnomer. I like that one. Misnomer. I like that one, Anirudh. So actually, the final happens only in between Magnus and Fabi, as we knew, and the other guys are playing because, hell, I think they've been just paid to play, you know, and, for general entertainment, which is fine. I mean, don't get me wrong. Heck, let them play. Of course. Yeah. Finally, just a misnomer. I like that word. Misnomer. Yeah. So Simpson comes with the idea of knight d4. Do you know, it's a very interesting thought here because it hits the queen and prevents this one. This is really, really cool. What you're saying, Simpson. It's a nice idea. Very nice idea indeed. In this case, I won't be playing queen. Ah, he actually went for what I said. I said queen to d5, which again doesn't preclude Black to play c6. Your idea is interesting, Simpson. It really needs further analyzing. I didn't consider knight d4. I noticed actually it does attack the queen. But I did consider queen to d5. I'm not in ecstasy about queen d5 anyway, because it doesn't stop Black from playing queen c6, for instance. So I can't say it achieves a great deal of something, given the fact after queen c6 we got to have a check right here on c3. So it's quite serious. And even if you defend, you can't do it because you're going to drop the queen. So queen is going to come off the board after queen c6. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But after queen c6, queens will be traded. If that's what Black's going to play. That is. So Simpson, knight d4 was a cool thought. Knight to d4. I guess queen to d7 might have been an answer to your move, Simpson. So Knight d4, hitting the queen, then queen to d7. I guess that might have been playable. So, you know, game continues. Oh, who's this guy? Send a message. I don't know who they are. Oof. I don't know. I need to double check later. Who's this guy? Okay, we'll check that one later. Anyway. 16 minutes for Gukesh and 27 minutes for Ali Reza here. Again, I think Gukesh is doing better. As soon as queens disappear, the game would be simplified, I guess. And let's consider queen c6, queen takes, rook takes. And then what do? You do knight to g5 looking for that guy. That's something. Can I defend them? Probably you can by moving rook to c7 looking after the pawn. So I guess it's playable. Then you might have some checks on the background. King goes on a7. And yeah, okay. Let's see if queen c6 actually is playable. It might be something else here. But what? Queen d7? Queen c6, which one is it? Right, so Anirudh, which one is it? Which one would you play? Would you play queen c6 or would you play queen to d7? Or would you just do something else? He did do something else. He played queen to a4. Queen to a4. Oh, that is interesting. Very, very, very interesting. What do you do with the queen there? Exactly? What exactly do you do with the queen there? I'm not saying it's very bad or something. What do you do? What's going on here? Guys, he gave up on that pawn. Did he? Or it's a poison pawn? Yeah, that's very interesting. So if queen takes, you got yourself a check. You got yourself a check. Let's assume king goes away. Then, heck, you're just taking a pawn, which I'm not sure it's a good idea given the fact they might be having this, of course, after knight disappears. So I think it's quite risky. You do get a check, but that king goes to safety, and then you're gonna have to worry all the time about the d file where the very king is. So I guess that pawn is a bit of a poison pawn, we call it in chess, guys. I think I've seen on Facebook someone was inquiring about a poison pawn, and I think that's just a nice example of a poison pawn. You take that pawn, but you're subjecting your queen to and your king to big risks and danger along the d file. So taking that pawn could be very, very risky. It's just you don't have any more safety. I mean, the white king is naked. That's what I mean. The white king is naked. Now mentioning that if the bishop plays, there will be also pressure on the white queen from the very rook on a6. So I think it's the most poisonous pawn. Probably you shouldn't be taking that pawn. 14 minutes for Gukesh, 24 for Ali Reza. So we shouldn't be touching that black pawn, but instead try to see if you can grab this pawn. Maybe you can just dream of pushing the white pawns, perhaps promoting at some point. What do you attack with white, really? How do you attack? What do you do? Maybe you should just be pushing the pawn. Just forget about that black pawn on h7. Just push the f pawn. I mean, it's quite getting desperate here. I mean, what else do you do? Just push a pawn. I think probably that's the biggest threat you can create, right? You leave the knight where they are. I think the knight's important to stay where it is. Bishop is important to stay where it is. Okay, he played the rook. He played the rook. Because of this? Well, that's a good attacking idea. I love it. Very nice find for Alireza Firouzja. Rook e4 because he is planning. Yeah, of course. Alireza, queen c6 was the move that I said about, like, even before queen a4. I was just saying queen. Okay, queen d7, I said that one too. Anyway, you had to move the queen because if you didn't move the queen, you would have landed in a massive issue after b5, hitting rook and rook hitting your queen. So you had to move the black queen away. So that was forced. Now we can debate upon queen c6. We can debate queen c6, queen d7. Queen d7 is still cool. No, apologies. That queen c6 might have been problematic slightly after pawn goes forwards. Although c3 is being hit like 2 times, so I'm not quite sure. Queen c6 though. Being played. I guess you don't want to move the knight. Again, knight needs to stay where they are. Again, I am thinking about the f5, f6, just push the pawn. What else? Really, what else? So leave the white pawn on b4 where they are to stopping any rook attacking. So this guy is incredibly important to stay on b4 and just march on with the f pawn. No, don't push the b pawn. I think that probably a blunder. I'm not sure about the b pawn. I think you need that pawn to stay where it is. Push the f. No. I'm not sure the rook's gonna go back that much. I'm not sure about the. I got a feeling of insufficiency about the b5. It's just. I don't think you should do the b. I think you should do the f. You're wasting time doing the b pawn now. Leave the rook. You know something, Anirudh? Let the black rook on a6 stay there. Let them stay there. Do the f5 because you don't have another chance if you mess around. Just do the f pawn, man. Really, I really don't. And you're further fortifying the knight. Go with the pawn forwards. I think it's playable in this fashion with some chances for white here. Actually, starts looking interesting. No, okay, he did your move. Okay, rook's gonna go now, as you said, a7 or a8. But really, now you gotta have to keep the queen to look after this guy continuously. What can I say? And also, mind you, Anirudh, after rook retreats, there is always this. And boy, you're gonna start trading pieces now. So yeah, what can I say? Rook has to move now. That is true. That is true. He moved the rook. Okay. I mean, you didn't have too many choices really. So either a7 or a8. So a7, fine. Now I wonder, really, if not f5, really, I don't see what else can you possibly do here. f5 makes a lot of sense. And then let me tell you something, after f5, then there might be this played by Gukesh. If not f5, Anirudh and Simpson, I really don't know what because I can't see any other way to do anything. You shouldn't be trading the knight. You shouldn't trade nothing here with white. You should just push that pawn. Try and see if you can do something on the f-file. Yeah, totally. f5, bishop takes f5. That's the problem. That's exactly what's going to happen. Bishop takes, rook b4. Maybe. Yeah. You can't avoid bishop a5. You can't stop bishop a5. You're going to play like this. Yeah. Yeah. f5, bishop f5, and probably bishop takes, rook takes. Rook b4. Yeah, what can I say? Yeah. Yeah, something like this, Anirudh. Yep. Yes. Yeah, guys. So I think the very most candidate moves here, Simpson and Anirudh, is f5, as you said, guys. Yeah, definitely f5. I can't see anything else. I mean, having whites here, is there any way to stop bishop a5? I mean, if you don't do f5, you probably want to think about some stuff to be preventing bishop a5, but like moving the king. Oh my god. That's a little nice tactic here. That's a little nice tactic here. Of course, you can't take the bishop because you're going to drop the queen. You're going to drop the queen, so that's out of the question. You can't touch the bishop, but you move the king, right? Heck, you could do a check first. You could do a check first. And then you move the rook. And then again, I think that might be a bit poisonous. Huh, interesting. Hi there, Joginder. Thanks for stopping by, mate. So how would you play here, guys? How would you actually play in this moment now? Would you play an in-between move with the bishop on a5, checking the king? Or would you move the king straight away? Or would you do something else? I mean, obviously, I think it's obvious you cannot take the bishop because... So he moved the king. Yeah, we did say either bishop a5 or moving the king away. So he moved the king away. No more checks. Now you gotta decide if you want to take this guy. If you don't want to take that pawn, you gotta have to move the bishop. No, you don't have to move the bishop. You can push f5, but that's just getting checked. Well, you can't have them all, can you? What do you do? Can you do this? Well, you're gonna give up on the C file, that's for sure. You know, all the game until move 30, I had the incredibly frustrating feeling that actually that rook on a7 is painfully positioned. Gukesh is struggling with that rook since like forever. I gotta tell you something, it probably is the most frustrating piece in the whole game. That rook on a7 is the most unhappy piece. Unbelievable. That rook. Unbelievable, that black rook. Anyway, what is okay? Oh, Ali Reza's turn. Okay, so that pawn is still pinned, so to speak. So you might not need to act on it for now. And then I'm going back to the old question: do you push f5? Can't take because you might have this. Also, this guy might be taken. I think Ali Reza now is calculating if he should take the pawn or if he should take. She should push f. I don't think you should take, but maybe just pushing f. Just push the f pawn. Push the f pawn and push it again. It could be check here though. That's serious. This is serious. If Alireza allows black to check and moving the rook down here and just check and check, you might have some problem. Again, the rook on a7 doesn't exist. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Very unhappy rook on a7, guys. Um, 16 minutes for Alireza. Do you drop the bishop back? Yeah, but bishop a5 happens anyway, and then you are going to be trading your pieces whether you want it or not. Can you play rook c4? Again, I'm not a great fan of trading here with whites, but maybe, man, I gotta shut off those messaging. Oh, man. So, Chanosuno G, bishop c3 would be replied with bishop a5. You will be forced to take, then rook takes, and then the rook will be attacking you twice on b4. And actually, Gukesh would be practically relieved if you do bishop c3. He would be incredibly happy because bishops will come off the board and stuff like that. Maybe it's good to keep the bishop on the board, not traded yet, and just explore f5 ideas. Well, I might be wrong, but just maybe this kind of f5 stuff. f5, bishop a5 check. King has to move. Where? Here, I guess. Then this guy goes on the back rank. You're gonna have problems. Yeah, that's actually a big problem because it's a big skewer. And it is a problem. So yeah, Alireza has to use those extra minutes now and actually think it properly. You could do f5, and after bishop a5, you just play on the back rank. Oh man. Bishop c3, bishop a5, rook c4. Let's look at your idea. So bishop c3, bishop a5. Yes, he did do bishop c3 indeed. Bishop c3, and if bishop a5, rook to c4, you're saying. Check. Takes, takes, takes. Checks. Or maybe this. Well, let me tell you something. If you're black here, probably you're going to go for the tradings right now. Just trade off everything. Right? You have to trade pieces here and see if you manage to do something with those rooks. It's dangerous. f5 is always looming on the horizon. d6 is under eternal pressure from the queen. So really not easy. But if you were black, Sonoji, Simpson, guys, if you are with the black pieces here, wouldn't you go for the trades now? I mean, f5 can't be really prevented. I mean, I can't see how you're going to stop f5. And why not just get pieces off the board? Yeah, it looks a bit better because of that f4, f5 advancement. That is why am I looking a little bit better for white. Because of this ideas. That passer is a bit concerning for black. Other than that, that rook doesn't exist. The black rook on a7 does not exist. So what do you do with the rook, really? Is bishop a5 the only way for black to actually get that rook to do something? Probably the most exciting game of the round here. This one, between Alireza and Gukesh. Way more exciting than what Magnus played against Fabio, which was incredibly positional. Nothing bad with positional chess, don't get me wrong. There's nothing, I got nothing against positional chess. But I think it looks more entertaining when they're doing some tactical choices here. It looks very tactical. It looks like an eternal puzzle now. It looks like a very long puzzle. Well, 10 minutes, let's say, for Gukesh and 14 minutes for Ali Reza. And, oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Very promising young super grandmasters. One of them could become world champion at some point, Sonoji. Maybe Ali Reza, maybe gonna be Gukesh, maybe Prague, maybe Nordibek, maybe. But yeah, definitely. Fabulous game. Very exciting. Very nice game here. Definitely worth another YouTube video, this one. I made one about Nordibek and Magnus Carlsen yesterday. Whenever you got time, guys, have a quick look at that one. At your convenience, of course. If you haven't subscribed, my friends, probably you could do it on my YouTube channel. And what is Gukesh going to play? Guys, what about rook sacking completely on c3? No, I don't think it's enough compensation. At least if the black pawn wasn't there on a3. Nah, it's not enough compensation. You can't do this. It's not working. It is not working. Now, rooks need to come off the board. ASAP. Then see if you can get rid of that pawn on b5. Because otherwise the rook doesn't do nothing and you're going to get toast after f5, f6. You're going to have big problem. That knight stays incredibly well where they are. Very well. Protecting the promotion square. So you got an issue. You've got an issue there. Alrighty. Alright. There you go, bishop a5. We said that like 20 minutes ago, Sono G and Simpson. We did say about bishop a5. We did say about bishop takes and rook takes. And I think, now you're not wrong. That's and rook b4. Indeed, we also highlighted this move. I think Anirudh said about rook to b4 as a way to defending b5 from the double attack. Yeah, these moves, we had anticipated them, guys. I mean, it's the only way to try to simplify for black and see if you could actually do something with your rooks. I mean, you can't just, keep those rooks, keep that rook there. So now the bishops disappeared. Still the same issue remains with the f5, f6, so to speak. It's still there. Okay. How can you bring this third attacker here? You don't bring the third attacker. He actually looks at different ideas. And that is, my chess friends, Simpson, Android, I think he looks at this. Mainly. That's serious. It's serious for white, because if black manages to do that, so you can't really play f5, to my understanding. You can't do f5, because if you do f5, you're going to have queen to h4. And frankly, I'm not sure how you're going to stop these things. I'm not sure how you're going to stop the queen, the black queen on the second rank. And if the black queen makes it on the second rank, you have big problem, because the rook on the c file with the queen on the second rank, they are colluding here. And I think you're kind of done. if they make it this way. You have big problems. So, yeah. Yes, Simpson, Queen h4 is a killer. So we were right, Simpson and Anirudh. We were right to say bishop a5 was a necessary move for black to get rid of the bishops, simplify the game. And now with this excellent find, looks like they only moved the queen one square. Queen d7 over to queen e7. One square, but that makes a huge, monumental difference. And let me tell you another one, Simpson. I'm not talking down queen h4, but look at the queen to f7, queen to f6. Look at queen to f6, threatening queen c3, check and goodbye rook. Just look at that. That's another threat. And I think it might be quicker, faster, and more dangerous. I mean, just look at those ideas. Queen f6 or queen h4. I don't know which one is more aggressive, actually, Simpson. But queen f6 is very, very problematic. Because of the queen c3, fork, check and fork. I think you got a massive problem with white here after queen f6. So f5, f5, oh, oh. Simpson, we were correct, both you and me, queen h4 and queen f6, but g5 played by Alireza wants to say, I'm taking away your attacking ideas with queen f6, queen h4, and you can't play queen to g7 because of the knight. Excellent game by Alireza, who just anticipated the attack. He anticipated the attack and played g5 to stopping queen from attacking. Now, Gukesh undermines the pawns by playing h6 to just revert back to the ideas we just mentioned previously. Again, white can't afford to take, because if you take, you're running into the same queen to f6. And that's just game over, Simpson. Now, it don't mean that white's gonna take. White very well may be playing h4, just in between ourselves. Just in between ourselves. It's far from over. Very interesting. But let me tell you another idea, Simpson. What about queen h7, though? We are looking at this kind of stuff, Simpson. So I understand f6 is no longer employable. g7 can't be used because of the knight. But heck, queen h7? Queen h7, it's another idea. Queen h7 is another idea. I think it's quite dangerous, again, for white here. I think that h6 move played by Gukesh, I'm not saying it's a bad. h6, oh man, that's just brilliant. h6, Simpson, had been played particularly for allowing queen h7. Not just to undermine the pawns. This is just so brilliant from Gukesh. This is phenomenal. Again, h6 had been played not only to lure white into kind of taking or dismantling the pawns, actually wants to vacate the square for a queen, so that the rook and the queen can together collude and attack on c2 with devastating consequences for white. This is just brilliant game by Gukesh. Really brilliant. Brilliant game. Absolutely phenomenal game. So it doesn't serve white to either take the pawn or push the pawn. And even h4 being played by Alireza doesn't mean a damn thing, because queen h7 is going to be played regardless. So that's just brilliant. That is just brilliant. Awesome, awesome. I just love it. Wow. Superb. Absolutely superb here. Yes, Simpson, White King has a major problem here. Again, taking the black pawn or not, reinforcing the white pawn or not, doesn't make a bit of a difference, given the fact you're considering queen h7. So Alireza now is thinking, how the heck is he going to stop queen h7 doing stuff here? The question is if white is supposed to be playing f5 now as a measure of desperation because you're going to have this. And if this happened, maybe you can shut it off with g6. Just saying. Just saying. It's far from over, but it might be workable. It's a bit desperation, okay, but what can you do, really? So let's just look at this idea. f5. They might be taking here, though. Yeah. Well, at least you don't get queen h7. I think if you allow queen h7, game is over. For white. It's just over. You might have some stuff, but again, the more pieces you're trading, the worse it's going to get now for white. Because you're running out of power. You're running out of soldiers. How you gonna protect your king? What you going to attack with? I mean, that's it. That was it. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm not sure about f5. I don't like it for white though. But then again, what do you play? Not just what do you play, but also you got 6 minutes on the clock. Oh man, he played h4. He played h4. Can you believe that? And then Gukesh immediately took with h. Oh, Jesus. He took with f. Can I play this? Asking for a friend? Can I play... No, you can't touch that pawn. But can I just play queen? For this. Queen h7. I'm going for the c2. Can you stop it? Is there anything else you could play, by the way? Those guys are scary. Those two connected white pawns are indeed concerning for black. Those two guys. These two guys. But I guess queen h... Okay, he didn't do h7. Probably was defendable with this move, knight to d4. So if he had played queen h7, probably white could have defended with knight d4. Queen f7 though, queen f7 announces this. Do you know what's very interesting, Simpson? Black had played queen d7, then queen e7, and now queen f7. Isn't this sick? Black had moved the queen d7, e7, f7. Like 3 squares horizontally. And now he goes for the f2. It doesn't work to move the king, because if you move the king, you're going to have this. And when you're having this, then the queen is coming down anyway. And I think, again, you're done because of the skewer and stuff like this. So you're finished here. And by the way, it's the only thing you could do with black now. You need to go for the checks ASAP, because this guys seem to be pretty much unstoppable now. So you either go for the checks and see what happens. If he manages, if Gukesh, yeah, he's gonna be stopped. Can you revert back to queen h7? Because obviously now I can no longer play this. Can you revert to queen h7 again? Can you sack a rook here? Oh man, that was another crazy idea. Can you sack a rook? Or is it just too much? What is just too much? Maybe it's just too much after all. No, you can't. This is crazy because they take with check and you're done. Apologies. That can't be played. Interesting, but not if you getting in check with tempo. Can't be done. Queen again. Double attack on b5. So that will force the rook to go back. What? Huh? Rook c4. Rook c4. Well, you can't take here because there is a check. So you gotta take first, right? Man, those pawns are incredibly scary. So again, well, you take first, rook takes, queen takes, and then if you take with the queen, you're gonna have a problem on the back rank here. And you're not gonna like it. So again, but you have to, right? Rook takes, queen takes, and then you're gonna take with the rook. Then go for this. I mean, what else do you want to do? By the way, it is what it is. But then again, hold on a second. There is some dangerous forks here. Rook takes. You must take. Rook takes. You can't do this because of the fork, guys. Simpson, look at this crazy stuff, man. Look at this craziness. If rook takes and queen takes, you cannot take this pawn because you're going to have a fork. With the knight to c7, checks the king, forks the rook. It's crazy, but you can't take the pawn. You cannot. Oh, this is so sickening. You can't take the white pawn on b5. You can take the rook. You can take the rook on c4. Yes, Simpson, it's absolutely super wild, mate. You can't take the b5 pawn. Oh, man. Okay, so let's just consider this again. This one takes. Hello, Pratish. So, rook takes. Queen takes. What do you play? Queen can't take the knight, I guess, because you're going to take him back immediately, Pratish, unless I'm missing some sequences that you have in mind. Thanks for stopping by the way, but I don't know in what sequence you saying queen takes knight. Well, queen takes... Oh, I understand what you're saying, but then, hey, I'm happy to take your queen, right? Because then it's going to be queen versus rook, and I'm winning practically, Pratish. So rook takes, if you say that, rook takes, and if you take here, I'm going to take here, going to take here. Oh, I got it, okay. So that's going to be a trade, but then black's going to have a problem because of these two passes. Okay, we can do trade of everything, but Pratyush and Simpson, if you trade off all the pieces, so let's just say all the pieces disappear now. Let's just put it in a very simplified fashion. White is winning. Because if you get rid of all the pieces, you can't stop the G and the H pawn. So black is done. That's it. So actually this is the main focus of the whole thing now. It's gonna be happening now. Big problem for black is that Gukesh is on 1 minute 20 seconds. That's a big problem here. And he gotta decide something, and heck, it's just so funky. You should take the rook probably, but not touching the b4 pawn. So you take the rook and then keep playing without touching this guy. What? Heck, I don't know. It's tough. Unless you're having some other tactics in mind. But what other tactics are here? Do you play this? Oh man, he's a... Thank you very much for the sub. You're talking about the YouTube... sorry, I don't have any YouTube sub. Probably you're talking about the... Oh, subscribing on YouTube. Yeah. Thanks, buddy. Cool stuff. Yeah. So rook now played on h8. What does that want to do, actually? What does it want to do? As long as the white rook stays here. Yeah, let me tell you something, Simpson and Pratyush. When you're like 40 seconds on a clock, even your super GM, you're gonna be missing very good moves, and actually you're just gonna blunder. I mean, it's incredibly stressful. Bullet, it's very stressful, and the position is so complicated. It is so complicated The biggest frustration for black was this rook all of the game. This rook was the bigger pain. The biggest pain ever for Gukesh was this rook. And now he's got a problem with those two passes. And I'm not sure what's that rook h8 apart from just being moved because you want to move something because you got 40 seconds. I don't know what's that going to do. I mean, can you, exactly, just was about to say, can you imagine G6 and G7? How are you going to deal with that? Everything is blocked here. I'm really sorry for Gukesh now. This is getting really serious. I guess you could push the pawn and leave it there and then coming with the other pawn. So you're just going to push G7. Rook's going to have to move. Pratyush, I appreciate the B pawn, but the problem for black would be now G7. And if you move the rook, you're going to have an almighty queen, and I think that's game over. So it's really, there is no checks to be given to the white king, and the massive problem, guys, is the G7 move. And Alireza is going to push it. If you don't push G7, I really fail to see what exactly you're going to do. You have to push G7. You're going to be tiding the black rook to stay on the back rank all along. And heck, a rook is going to have to come in front of the pawn. And then you're going to push H5. I think that's the most reasonable plan for white here, right? Unless I'm wrong, guys, please feel free to tell me if you think I'm wrong. But I guess G7 and then moving H5, H6 would just do the job for white here. Black is just purely defending now, and there you go, G7. Didn't we say that? There you go, G7. You can't play a rook lift, guys. This is done. You can't make a rook lift. You're gonna have to place the rook in front of the pawn, and you wanna bet Alireza gonna push H5. There you go. There you go. The plan is very simple for Alireza. Painful for black though. H5, H6. Not mentioning I can play a discovered attack on the rook at some point. I mean, it's playable. Look at this. Guys, have you seen knight to C5? Crazy. But just look at that. Not mentioning the checkmate here if you're dropping the queen to defend the rook. It's just sick. Guys, you tell me if it's knight C5 or if it's H5. I mean, they're just equally disastrous. I mean, it's just killer. Knight C5 is a killer. Look, they've got to 40 moves. I think Alireza should be sitting down and actually think. To my personal evaluation, looks like white is actually seriously attacking. And frankly, you got a massive problem with those passes on G respectively H pawn. I'm happy they reached the 40 moves threshold because that means now both of them can sit down and actually think properly. But then again, guys, tell me very honestly, what do you think about knight C5? Tell me in all honesty, what do you think about knight C5? Hits the queen, hits the rook, hits the B7 with the checkmate threat. Be very, I mean, this one looks very attacking. If they're not attacking, I don't know what it's attacking means. If they're not attacking, I don't know. If knight C5, what does black play? You tell me honestly, what do you play? You don't have any check. If queen goes on the back rank, Pratyush, I'm gonna checkmate on G7. Now you could go, we need to calculate this, which is something. But even if you do that, I'm still having a freaking check here with queen takes. Check. I'm checking you again. I really don't know where you're going. I really don't know because it's more checks coming and you're going to drop the rook or something. So guys, looks like knight C5 is winning. If I was Alireza here, Pratyush, Simpson, Anirudh, if I was white, I would be just giving 5 more minutes. Heck, I would give it 10 more minutes here. I really want to know if knight C5 is working out. So you need to take it by elimination. And you need to check all the branches and make sure that actually knight C5 wins it. I guess if you're incredibly fearful, you could go h5, h6, but that gives black chances for counterattack with taking this pawn on b5. So you can't allow that. Therefore, I'm reverting back. I guess knight c5 is the killer move for white to play. You tell me, guys, if you think I'm wrong. If you think I missed a tactic or something, please do tell me. Again, if queen to c8, it's queen takes d6 check. And you have, again, big problem here. You're going to have to move the king in a corner. If you move in the corner, so knight c5, queen f8, queen takes d6 check. King must play either either a7 or a8. If a8, oh, if a8, what do I do? b6. No, if a7 b6, if a7 b6 check. Oh my god. If a8, I need to find an answer if queen a8. Heck, I will stay 10-15 minutes for this. Knight c5, queen c8, queen d6, king a8. Let me do it again. Knight c5, queen c8, queen d6 check, queen a8, queen b6, queen b6, attacking the rook. If queen takes my rook, I'll take the other rook. They're gonna have to move back. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you gotta take a chocolate here. You gotta eat some carbohydrates. You gotta take some sugar, and then you're gonna make a move. Yeah, yes, Simpson. The reason Alireza's not moving is because he's looking after King A8. He don't want to screw it up right now. Yes. I don't think it's particularly easy one here. Luckily, he's got 26 minutes, so he could just practically ask someone to give him a sandwich or something. Yeah, you need to have some sugar and think it properly. You need to decide upon something because they're going to take on b5 and you're going to lose the whole thing. It could be a rook sacrifice, okay. Oh, I think Gukesh would be more than happy to just give a rook to... Well, wait a sec. What exactly you want to do? You want to sack the rook on g7? I think it's very tough if you do that. You might be losing even, Pratyush. Depends what do you mean by sacrifice the rook. I'm happy to look at your idea. Anyway, it's white's turn. And my instinct tells me about knight c5. My accuracy tells me that I need to make sure after king a8 I've got a follow-up plan. Especially after queen to c8 and queen d6, if that's the... So knight c5, queen f8, right? Hey, I'm winning the queen, for Christ's sake. It's knight h6, that's it. They're gonna take... Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. No, that's what I wanted. Okay, so again, guys, I've reconsidered. Knight c5. If queen c8, you're going to have queen to h6 check. They either take or they take or whatever they do. I am going to take the queen. And then with the queen versus two rooks, I think I'm happy to deal with, given the fact I've got a passer. All right, guys, so I've reconsidered. No, I mean, I haven't reconsidered the first move. You're going to do knight c5 here. You're going to do knight c5. The only stuff, it's queen to c8, and then you're going to play knight to h6 check. That's what I would do. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Apologies, apologies. Let me refresh the page. I misclicked. So again, Pratyush, Anirudh Simpson, knight c5, queen c8, knight h6. That's it. This is it. Nothing works for black. If they don't play queen c8 afterwards, nothing works. They're going to be either checkmated or they're going to drop the rook. So nothing works for them. And this knight c5 would give you queen versus two rooks. And if you manage to hold on to that g7 pawn, you got a passer. So knight c5, queen c8, knight h6. Let's say pawn takes. Let's say pawn takes. Rook takes. King takes. And then I'm going to take the pawn on d6 with the queen. And if you take with the rook here, I'm going to do queen d7, check the king and grab your rook. So you can't take my pawn. I think this is it. Knight c5. Oh, you want to play rook b5. No, I'll take your queen. You're losing everything. Sorry, I don't get it, Pratyush. So tell me again, brother. What do you mean? It's white's turn now. Knight c5. I want to play knight c5 for white. You can't do rook b5. You're going to lose everything. Because knight takes with check and you're going to drop everything. Everything's done at this stage. It's checkmate in two moves. You also got this, so it's just game over. So I'm really curious if Ali Reza gonna go with knight c5. Heck, you could do rook b4, but there's just... No, it's white's turn. It's very important to remind this to all of our friends. It's white's turn to play, not black. If it was black, it would have been a totally different story, Pratyush, but it's now black's to play. It's white's turn to play. So, yeah. Heck, guys, Pratyush, Simpson, guys, have you noticed that actually Alireza had spent 10 minutes on this position? He had spent 10 minutes here. I was exploding with knight c5 the minute I saw it, the second I saw it. I guess he still investigates knight c5. I guess he still investigates it. I'm so curious if the engine would agree at the very end. I don't want to put the engine yet. I want to keep it nice and raw. I think for learning purposes, it's important not to use the engine during the live games, especially when the Super GMs are playing. I'm still bound to do knight c5. I guess it should. In the worst case scenario, seems to me, if I do knight c5, in the worst case scenario, I'm ending up with the queen versus two rooks and two passes. The g7 and a4 pawn. So I guess that should be enough for winning. And if I'm wrong, that means I miscalculated. For a draw, Pratyush, after knight c5, for a draw, black will have to play very hard fighting for a draw. I'm not sure about the victory because the queen is really, really flexible and versatile. Very difficult. Uh, I guess it's not that easy. If it was, Pratyush, if it was easy, Alireza would have moved already. Don't you think? He would have moved already if it was easy. But he doesn't. I haven't even investigated other ideas, Pratyush. So I looked at knight c5. Seemingly, it turns out to be more advantageous for white at the end. But I haven't investigated at all quiet moves like rook b4. Haven't investigated. Because if you do rook b4, again, you're kind of like shutting off the black rook from doing anything. One, then you might be able to push this guy. And if that guy getting pushed, that's it. That's it. Oh, very difficult. Okay, I'm going to highlight the three candidate moves. Knight c5, b4. I'm not sure about h5 now because you're going to be dropping b5, taking with the rook with the... So, rook b4 or knight c5. I cannot fathom another way to attack here. It could be, also I didn't consider this. Rook to c7, but it doesn't work because queen's gonna take on b4, and then I think you're done at this stage. So you can't do rook to c7. You can't. But what you can do for sure is rook b4 and knight c5. I think these are the only candidate moves for white here. I think. Now, of course, as it's been proven so often, I might be wrong, but looks to me rook b4, knight c5. Rook b4, knight c5. Rook b4 maintains the status quo and keeps things as they are, whilst you still having the h5, h6 ideas, which I think are very, very valid and very dangerous for black and very good for white. If you don't do rook b4, then probably knight c5, which may end up with trading a rook and the knight for a queen. And you might take a pawn in the process. But then it's a long, arduous endgame, in which if the black rook's getting connected, I think white might have an issue, but it's very difficult to achieve that, I guess, because queen will be checking. So, one of these two. And Pratyush and Simpson, believe it or not, guys, Alireza had spent 14, almost 15 minutes on the next move. As soon as they hit the 40 moves threshold, Alireza thinks for 15 minutes here. 15 minutes. Almost 15 minutes, okay. So let's say in 1 minute, he would have spent 15 minutes with this next move, guys. Absolutely. That's probably the most exciting game today, my chess friends. The most exciting one. So, guys, do you see something else, Pratyush, Simpson? You guys see something else than rook b4, knight c5? Do you think there's something else here that might be played? Do you think there's something else? Hmm. Uh, Oh man, he played rook b4, Pratyush. Oh man, he played rook b4. Maybe that's for the better. I did highlight two moves. It's a fabulous puzzle, Simpson. I did highlight two moves here. Knight c5 and rook b4. And I said if you want to be on the safer side, you probably should go with rook b4 because you're defending this guy, the b5 pawn, and at the same time you're reverting back to your old idea with h5, h6. He probably didn't like to trade rook and knight for a black queen and then having to fight incredibly hard for that end game. But instead, Alireza chose to defend the pawn, rendering the black rook on a5 completely blocked for the time being, and then he's gonna push the h pawn, and he wants to go in this fashion. Oh my God! He took Simpson Pratyush. He took 15 minutes for this choice. I did highlight it, I think in the very first minutes, I did highlight it, but he actually decided after recalculation that actually is the safest way to play. Now, as of Gukesh here, being Gukesh here, guys, you know something? Black is in a little bit of a zugzwang here. You don't have anything to play. You are in sort of zugzwang here. You tell me what do you play with black and what's the plan? I mean, you may attempt this for this, right? You might. But it's not going to work. In the minute you're taking the knight with the queen, I'm going to take rook takes queen and you lose. If rook takes, I'm going to promote, check. And again, that's it. So you can't even go for the knight. That's what I want to say, Pratyush and Simpson. Black can't even go for the knight. They can't. So black is in zugzwang. If you're moving this rook up and I mean up is just okay. You can't go down here because you're going to lose it. So the only thing you could do with whoa. The only thing you could do with the black rook on a5 is just moving it on a7 or a8, which is a complete pain. It's just a disaster. I can't even look at that one. I just start crying instantaneously. No, that's just not going to happen. So black is in zugzwang, my chess friends. Black is in a big zugzwang here. Nothing you could play meaningfully with black. And Alireza just blocked any activity for the black rook. And the only plan he's got, Alireza, is based on h5, h6, h7. And that's it. I think Pratyush, at this stage, knight c5 had been dropped as a plan. Pratyush, you no longer want to play knight c5. It's not going to work now. I don't think it works at this stage. What it works now for white is the innocuous, well, quotation mark. It's the innocuous h5, which is a killer. And that's it. In its silence, it's an absolute killer. h5, h6, h7. Given the fact black can't do nothing. And you don't have to do anything with white. But then just what we said already. That's it. You can't push the b pawn. It's a disaster following this, which hits the queen, and then following this. So you can't really play the b pawn. So that's what I said, Simpson, that black is in zugzwang here. I guess you can move the queen like on the 7th rank or on the back rank, but where? And what's the bigger purpose? You could go for, okay, let me analyze just a little bit. Let me just analyze briefly this idea. for what? For nothing. For just making it just to the f6, and maybe you can have some checks here. It pains me to say, but I can't find nothing, really. You tell me if you see something else for black. Or moving the king. But then again, you move the king because you gotta move. It's not because you want to do something actively talking here, guys. So it's an immense pain here, but I guess you gotta do something like queen e7, queen f6, hoping desperately for some check on the second rank. Other than that, I really fail to see anything. Of course, you do queen to e7. I guess white's gonna push h5, and even if you do f6, I guess I can play knight to f4, defending h5 and attacking your rook. Does that work? Or maybe you don't want to do it in this fashion. But it's something that black could try and achieve. Maybe this, for this. That's it. And this is it. But this is a big problem. After you play queen f6, there is queen takes d6 with check. It's just again, I really can't see anything for black. So I don't know. If you guys see something for black to play, Pratyush, Simpson, tell me, guys. If you see something to play for black here, because I don't. I absolutely do not. In all honesty, I can't find anything to play with blacks here. Okay. Probably Gukesh is gonna spend like 10 more minutes, and he's gonna go queen e7 or something because there's nothing else to play. And then we're gonna wait to see if Ali Reza actually wants to go for h5, which is probably the only thing you could play. And the best thing you could do. And I guess it's pretty much unstoppable moving the h pawn. And or he resigns or something, right? Yeah, so the black queen also have to stay and look after the d6 pawn. So even if you do this, you can't even go for this because it's this and it's check and I don't know where you're going. And it's more checks and it's just a pain. It's just an absolute pain here for black. It's an absolute pain here for black. I don't see any way to do this. Yeah, I wonder if they should resign. Gukesh should resign here. Okay, just for the sake of very quickly, let me look at Nordibek and Levan Aronian. Hey, that looks a bit more neat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Looks like white should be winning here. Simpson, sorry, but we'll be back just in a brief moment. Let me just see what's going on here. The king probably tries to go after this guy and after this guy. I wonder, do you want to take this? And when they, well, you're just going to take this. They're going to be going here. What do you play? Or are you going to play this? If you play this, they're going to be attacking your pawn regardless. So what do you play? Or you can't move the king because they're going to take you with check. There's another puzzle, Simpson and Pratyush. This is another puzzle, guys. What does white play here? That's another puzzle. It's not a simple one. So this is Abdusatorov. What do you play here? If you move this guy, they're going to be moving here. You move here, then go here, then you go here. Then they might be stepping aside, pushing this guy. Very tough. Really tough. That's a tough puzzle. No, this is a puzzle. This is an absolute puzzle here. Why to play? You've got 2 extra pawns. The problem for white is that the problem for white is that the black king has very quick access to this guy. And if you defend with the rook, black's going to take your pawn on g2. And you want to bet that they're going to be checking you further on. You're going to be moving here. Then, heck, you know, they're going to be playing here. And, okay, it's problematic. Can you preserve your material? What do you play? There is only one way to stop losing this pawn. Now, there's only one way, and that is to play rook to h2. That's the only move you got available. Or to moving the pawn up. But by moving the pawn up, you actually allowed black to play this. So I don't know what to tell you. Very difficult. Huh. King a2, king a2. Yeah, you could do king a2, Pratyush. Yeah, that's a nice one. King a2, if rook takes, you're going to take with tempo and then go for the other guy, theoretically. No, you're not in check. You're not in check, Pratyush. If you do king a2, you're not in check. You got a shield, so to speak. So yeah, you could do that. You could definitely do that. I'm not sure it's the best one, but you can. So king to a2, but okay, if they take, you're gonna take. There's another thing. If you do king a2, can they just play this? So they defend their pawn, they attacking your pawn, and you still have a problem with this guy. I still don't like it. For white, I don't like it. And again, it's not an easy puzzle, Pratyush. If it was, Nordibek would have moved already. I'm not sure king a2 works. You got to look for other ideas. Whoa, maybe this? Then they play this. Oh, man. Then... Oh, man. You can't even say Pratyush and Simpson. Sorry, guys. You can't... Apologize. You can't even do this, because if you play the king to stopping the black king from moving down, then you're going to be having a check here. This is serious. So it's a tough one for... It's a very tough ending. I think very instructive, but it's a very tough ending for Abdusatorov here to play. It seems to be Pratyush and Simpson. It seems to be easier for black. For Levon, seems to be easier because you know what you're going to do. You're going to take on g2, you're going to move the king to d3. That's exactly what you're going to play. Tough. Maybe, just asking, maybe you got to go right on the back rank. When they take you here, you're going to play this. And stopping the king, and then if they go further on, you're going to be checking here, taking your guy. That's one plan. That is one plan. So moving rook over to h8, in case if they want to take, but what if they move the king first? Well, that's another problem. If they move the king first, you're still in trouble here. Rook h8, king goes to d3, threatening your pawn. Oh man, that doesn't work. You might need to be forced on giving g2 and play h3. That does not stop black from playing king to b3. And you're still a little bit screwed because you're going to drop that pawn. It's more difficult than it looks like. This is more difficult than it seems to be. You would say it's simple. It's not. Not even for Nordibek, who's a super grandmaster. It's not easy at all. Although it looks incredibly, you know, like you got two pawns, you know, optimistic for white. It's very difficult to hold on to the extra pawns because you're going to lose them very quickly now. And the pieces position, the pieces activity matters absolutely. After this move, white is in trouble. You're in deep trouble after that move. You are in deep, 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 deep trouble here. After king d3, you got an issue. Let's go. Oh, guys. Ali Reza won the game. Let's see, when did they... Didn't I tell you? Yeah. Okay, guys, we've seen something cool, man. Guys, be ready. This, and by the way, we're going to look at that crazy stuff. And I want to double. So what did black play here? Oh, G6. No way. Sorry, B6. You can't do this. It's huge advantage for white, as I said all along. I wonder if knight d4 might work here. No, not knight d4. Rook f4. Why? Still the old knight c5 crazy. Wait, whoa, 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 whoa. That can't be. Oh, rook f4 for this. Plus 96. Plus 96. Well, that's clear that after rook f8 you can't do nothing. Guys, let's go back a little bit to this moment and let's see if knight c5. Knight c5. Knight c5 is losing, guys, or at least is drawing. So rook b4 was actually a good one to play. Including the crazy rook c5, which is it requires big nerves of steel. So rook b4 is safe. Knight c5 is losing. Is losing because probably going to end up with rook versus queen versus two rooks. No, it's a draw. Pratyush and Simpson. Knight c5, that I suggest it ends up in a draw. It ends up in a draw. Queen g7. Oh, this is so complicated. More complicated than I thought. They're not going to play queen c8 because queen c8 is winning for white. Knight a6, rook a6, rook takes c8. So no, that one is definitely winning for white. I did say this correctly, but I didn't calculate actually the queen g7. Yeah, okay, rook takes a6, and now you're going to take here. And now they're going to like what? It don't matter what they do here. Let's say they take, but then you got this passes. No, sorry, you just take the rook. So in this sequence, white is winning. But I didn't calculate actually queen takes here. And then you got nothing. You allow black to actually hammering you. Rook b4 was actually the best stuff in town. b6. Rook f4 because of this. Hey, guys, by the way, h5 is still a valid idea. So f5 is still a very good idea. h5 plus 5.7. Yeah, okay, rook f4 is actually a killer. Rook f4, rook f8. But h5 with the purpose of h6 is actually a very good one. Okie dokie, fellas. That was almost, I think, 2 hours of stream now. I think we're going to wrap it up for the time being, people. You can keep an eye on this one. It looks like a very complicated little puzzle at the very end. It's been like 2 hours, guys. So I'm gonna take a break for the time being. Yeah, but you'll be in the next stream, Pratyush. Yeah, if you want on the next stream, we're going to be looking at your games that you played on chess.com or Chess. So on the next stream, we're going to do that if you want. More than happy. Now, after 2 hours, I think I need to take a break. And yeah, we'll be coming back, fellas. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube. Follow me on Twitch as well because I'm alternating Twitch and YouTube and Facebook. So yeah, follow me on Twitch as well. And I'll see you guys, Simpson, Pratyush, I'll see you guys next time. I'll see you tomorrow then. Take care of yourselves, guys. And thanks for watching this stream together with me. Was very, very nice afternoon. Take care, guys. See you soon.